Hello, people. Man's just trying to talk on why man's like. Let's talk on electric buses, yeah, and compare them to diesel things, right? So obviously the bus community in the UK is having a hard time right now adapting to these electric things. But personally, even I did at the start. But I'd say come about 2023, I started slowly adapting to them because I started deep in how cleaner they feel. With diesel buses, often a lot of the time it's hit and miss. You don't know if you're gonna go on a scruffy one whether you can smell the fuel a bit more than you did on the other one. It feels a bit more dusty. It feels a bit more vibrational and jarring by that fucking engine, you know. Or you don't know if you're getting one where it's so like that buses in general are just weak with their power, but you don't know if you're getting one that's borderline crazy with the lack of power it's got, where it's only cooling up the hill with fucking 2 miles per hour, bro. You know, diesels, yeah. From a passenger's perspective, yeah, I don't care, yeah. I'm not an engineer. I don't have no business talking on a bus reliability. I don't like, I don't get some enthusiasts will get so annoyed on a bus's reliability as if they're the one having to work on that bus. Like, I don't really understand the frustration on that kind of views. It's that, like, if you're not working on the bus, mate, what's your frustration? Like, you can still enjoy the bus as a passenger, like. But yeah, like, personally, electric buses, they just feel a lot cleaner in their presence, their design, their sound. Even their sounds are a lot clearer, bruv. Even their sounds are a lot clearer. Like, when we compare Enviro 400 Smart Highway, let's go to YouTube real quick, yeah. You know what my issue is with diesel buses? When you listen to their exhaust notes, they're very quiet. But electrics, yeah, as long as you're inside, you can hear the sound, the tune very clearly, right? And BYD's example of electric buses are the best sounding ones, in my opinion. BYD's bus chassis, the chassis that BYD make for electric buses, they're the best. They got the most tune in there. I like it, especially on the E200 EVs, man. I like it, man. It's very audible inside. Yeah, when you're outside on some electric buses, when you're outside of some electric buses, the sound doesn't really stretch out like that. But when you're inside the thing, it's pretty clear. As long as you're sitting downstairs and the fans ain't on and just sitting by where the wheels are. Don't sit by the back to hear an electric bus clear like that. Sit by the wheels. Sit by the rear wheels. Thank me later, bro. Um, that's a cold picture. That's a nice one. That's the best bus thumbnail I've seen in days, bro. Like, a lot of people, yeah, they're trying to like see what I don't like about a lot of these boss thumbnails, yeah. You're putting in so much text, yeah, into just something that people are gonna see to click on, like a small box that people are gonna see before they click on your video. Like, who's gonna bother to read every fucking listing about kick down, force downshifts on a fucking small box, a thumbnail like, bro, there's no need to add in so much details like that. Like, this is better, man. You can see the guys put a bit of effects in this picture or something like that, and he's taking a clear, beautiful shot of the bus like this from the perfect corner. I like that. Shout out to the Irish bro surfer, man. This is decent. This is decent, man. There's like so many people, yeah, they put so much text, yeah, into their bus thumbnails, and it's just like, why, bro? What's the need? Like, the whole point of a thumbnail is to just grabs people's attention, yeah, by just seeing what's in the photo, not seeing a whole essay of text about, how much you like the bus ride, like, do you get what I mean, bro? I have no wait. All right, okay, right. So Embraer 400 EV. Let's get. Wait, no, no. Let me start off with smart hybrid because this is my issue. Yeah, with buses with diesel engines, the exhaust, yeah, they're a lot of them, yeah, when they're on rev so low, they become almost inaudible to hear them. Like they're exhausting their engine. Yeah, the only thing that really saves these things, yeah, is like whenever they get voice gearboxes, because when they get gearboxes from voice, that whining, that retarder, you hear it, it's there, you know, you hear it. Uh, yeah, let's click on this video for example. I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna show you what I mean. Right, you hear it? Can you even hear that, mate? Like the main thing you can hear in there is the gear whine. Even then, it's a bit faint because the thing is brand new and it takes a bit of time for these lot to get their gearboxes sounding a bit louder. You know, in the future, we will see MMCs, you know, with voice steel gearboxes with, you know, proper loud whining sounds coming from that gearbox. Mark my words. But when we listen to that engine, like, it just sounds a bit too faint, man. Like, and this is why sometimes I feel like diesel buses sounds a bit overhyped. Because like the only times, yeah, where you can hear the engine a bit more clearer, like the exhaust, yeah, is when it hits like revs, like when it's like doing kick down and stuff. Like when it's like when the revs are a bit low, like this, like buses don't even rev that high. But typically speaking, when you listen to some buses exhaust, because with these basically with these smart hybrids, yeah, they don't have that hydraulic steering pump, so you ain't hearing that moan that you hear on your typical Cummins engine for a bus. You're just hearing the low bass, the faint, weak tune of that exhaust, and it's just sometimes it's inaudible to hear. It's just very subtle. Sometimes I don't really like it. Like all it does is make a fake. It just makes a faint rumble. You know, you can barely hear it like rev and clear like that. It just sounds muffled. It just sounds weak. Like, it just sounds weak like that. That you can kind of hear it a bit, but it's just too faint, man. That rumble is just too faint. I don't really like it. But then if you go on like a Enviro 200 EV, for example, yeah, you're gonna hear the tune on that thing a lot more. You're gonna hear the tune on. Alright, shout out to this upcoming E200 EV, next gen of the Enviro. It's coming out 2026. Stagecoach are getting them. Falcon buses are getting them. Stagecoach ain't getting them for London yet. Oh, no, but like when you listen to this electric thing, you're gonna hear it sound a lot more. Wait, as it moves off.
360 to
Wait. Because too much people are fucking talking, man. But just bear with me, bro. Don't click off the video yet. Don't click off the video, please. Right. Let me just find this video. Let me just find the video of that. See, barely anyone really gives these things attention. It's actually annoying. Like for actual journeys. And wait, fuck's sake. Okay, that's a nice video. Yeah. Like, can we actually hear like? No, I like that interior though. Look at that shit. Man. Fuck. See, barely anyone gives them that actual like journeys, man. It's just shorts, bro. It's fucking shorts, man. Fucking hell, bravo, right. Let's hope you hear this one better.
So, in terms of salary, you were
I
thinking.
I
don't
was hoping
care,
you would
man.
tell me what you were thinking.
Why does he look like Ed Matthews, bro? Kinda. He just looks like a neakier version of that Don. He looks like the Grinch, bro. I ain't trying to go to no fun fair, mate. Get this shit out of my face, man. I ain't trying to go no fun fair, bro. Thank you.
The next bus stop is closed.
All right, ML.
The next bus stop is
Okay,
closed.
ML, you said it enough, G.
Elephant Castle.
Bro, no. I'm telling you that. Wait, when you go, let's go on my video instead. No, it's my microphones, man. I'm telling you, it's my headphones. My headphones are just bugging out. I'm telling you. Wait. Uh, wait. I've got video. I've got video. Wait, yeah, let's watch this. See, it's a lot more audible. That's what I'm getting at. You straight away, you can hear all that tune, and it sounds a lot more smooth. It doesn't sound rumbly and faintish and just ugly. You know, even when you listen to cars, like even if you was to watch a car video from its interior, yeah, like of your average car, it sounds a lot better than the fucking engine you hear on a bus, mate. Like, brother, why is it being so soulful, man? Oh, right. What the fuck are these videos it's sending, man? I'm on a guest account, mate. I'm on a guest account. Why is it sending me these fucking type of videos, bro? I just fucking started my shit, man. Fuck. Right. Let's go on like a Toyota Supra no mods, right? You're gonna hear how clearer it sounds than that diesel bus's exhaust. Oh my god, bro. Right. I can't find no non-stock stock sound. Stock exhaust, yeah. You'll hear how smooth it sounds, man. Wait. That's not stock, G. No, but straight away you hear how smoother and how much more pleasant that is to hear than your faint. Like the problem I have with diesel buses engines, yeah, that exhaust is too bloody deep to fucking enjoy. It's too bloody deep and rumbly, and it doesn't even sound good like that. So when I hear people saying that they sound aggressive, and I'm like, are you sure, bro? Like it's too like buses they rev like diesel buses engines they rev typically like between their idle RPMs like what 700 and then their red line's like 3,000 or something like that. They don't even rev that much, you know, compared to your cars that rev up to 7,000, 6,000, you know, or 9,000, or you got Formula One cars that rev up to fucking six, nah, 5 digit numbers, bro. It's crazy. But see, you hear that straight away. It sounds a lot more pleasant than that fucking, you know, bus with that diesel engine. Alright, let's search up here. Enviro 400, right? Wait, let's go for another video. See, that's my problem again. You see, as it keeps shifting gear, sometimes it just becomes unenjoyable because the sound just becomes too faint as it keeps dropping gears and that. That's my issue with these diesel things. But with these electric things, yeah, even if the driver's driving slow, you can still hear the tune clearer. So straight away, you can hear more tune in that. And what people don't realize, yeah, the motor's just not making one sound. You can hear multiple tunes joining together. Obviously, I'm not gonna go ahead and mimic it like I'm some dweeb, but like you can hear multiple tunes joining up together, and it's not just the motors, because every vehicle with wheels that runs on the road has differentials. So obviously, electric buses have axles just like diesels do, But that's another thing I don't understand. People will gas up the sound of a diesel bus's axles that just sound noisy, you know. But when they hear electric, they're like, nah, that's boring, G. But in my opinion, it sounds more better on the electrics because on electrics also you got that motors joining in together and the inverters, going up in pitch at the same time together, and it just sounds all smoother. You know, these diesel things, yeah. Some people say they sound aggressive, beastly, drugged up, blah blah blah. They gassed it. I'll be real. A lot of people just gas their sound up like way too much, man. Like they don't even sound like. And you know what? Like obviously people are free to have their own opinions and that, yeah. But I just like sometimes it's a bit over the top. It's how some people, yeah, will go ahead, yeah, and gas up that one bus in a bus garage for shifting a bit later, where that's the only one in the batch that's got kicked down, and then they'll just shame the rest of the lot just because they don't have kicked down. Like, brother, like, how can you say you like buses, yeah, if you're just gonna just go for like just say like all the rest of the buses, yeah, are shit, yeah, just ignoring every other feature on them, just make it about kit now. Like like some people are like that, and I just don't really get it, to be fair. Like they feel they like there are a lot of people in the scheme, they act like kit down, yeah. If the bus starts kit down, yeah, the bus is just completely dead, it's gutless. Even when kit down, yeah, I'll be real. It kind of like results in power being used a bit more from the engine because obviously it makes the shifts a bit later. And as the engine increases RPM, more power is created depending on its mapping. Because obviously, as engines how their horsepower plotting works. Once they reach a certain RPM, that becomes their peak, and the power just drops as the RPM increases. You know, or it could be like, okay, like the engine's mapped to, let's say, from 700 RPM to 2000 RPM, it's increasing its horsepower. Then from 2000 RPM onwards, the power just drops slowly as it increases in RPM. Engines are mapped to be like that. So and another thing, when engines reach that RPM that they drop power from, that's called the peak. That's called the peak RPM, like, or peak horsepower. You know, and that's the thing with buses with kick down too. Some people think that kick down is gonna boost them up to the extreme, but they don't realize that certain buses just they have a peak. They have um the peak RPM just by the bits that that kick down is getting the thing to shift at. So it's barely even like really that much of a power boost. You know, but kick down in itself, it's not really like a power speed booster, but it does actions to the transmission. It does faint actions, just making all it does is just make the shifts happen at later times or earlier times for downshifting. It doesn't really like create power with it. It's not really a booster within itself, but it does actions on automatic transmissions to to create more power. Like if you put kick down like a manual thing, obviously it's not really gonna it can't really do shit because it's a manual gearbox. Kick down's not a power booster. It doesn't just give the thing fit wings and fly. Just all it does is it controls the transmission a bit to allow for you know power to increase a bit more quicker. You know, because obviously if you're strolling about at let's say 1000 RPM, right, and you was pressing the throttle a bit lightly, and all of a sudden you press the throttle fully, but the thing's still cruising at 1000 RPM, like 1000 to 1200 RPM. You're gonna want to downshift so that the thing can rev a bit higher, so that you can get past that gear a bit quicker. You know, that's basically what kick down does. It does that. It downshifts, yeah, when the throttle's pressed fully. So that you can get up to speed a bit quicker. You know, and the reason why there's a lot of buses, like when you look at buses back in the day, a lot of them had it. It's because buses are slow vehicles, and a lot of the ones that run on purely diesel engines, they lack in power. So when they don't have kick down on, they're a bit slower. So kick down kind of does do its thing, but some people gas it up a bit much. Like they act like it's done some extreme power boost where the thing's literally like about to take off like a jet or something. Like my brother, it's just simple shifting, shifting like shifting latency and just changing the timers of the shiftings. It's not really that impressive in my opinion. I feel like people just gas it up a bit too much. And there's this new term, red lines. Red lines. It's not a new term. Like red lines has always been labeled on the dash when you're driving a vehicle with a combustion engine to indicate to you, where you should chill out and stop, like revving the thing up to, you know, so that you prevent the engine from overheating. But people act like in the boss community, like this is another thing. People act like red line and the engine hitting its red line is literally doing something new. The engine's still like doing the same thing. It's increasing in revs. The engine always does that. People that like I feel like it's gassed up. Like bosses don't even like. It's not even like bosses have a fancy way of hitting the red line like they rev bounce like cars do. Like when you listen to cars, yeah, cars actually like when you rev them on neutral, they go when they hit that red line, it bounces. The engine bounces with between RPMs. But bosses they just hit that red line flat. So I don't like they just bosses will just go like, but a car would actually go like, it will actually like sound more aggressive and actually bounce. So that's another thing I don't really understand. That's gas to the extreme like that. Like, in all honesty, a bus hitting red line really isn't that impressive, you know. But yeah, I feel like I've made my point, you know. And what I like about EVs is when I like how as the thing slows down, the sounds get quieter, and occasionally you can hear the sounds go real deep as the thing slows down. That's another thing I like about EVs. The way you hear the motors and axles just go so deep. Because the thing with hybrid buses, you know what I hate about them? The fucking annoying engine is that, and some hybrid buses just have some, they actually have some nice, neat sounding tunes, but the engine just fucking ruins it at times. Like when you listen to the motors on the Route Masters, they are musical, boy. But sometimes the engine can just vibrate and ring your ears a bit too hard, and it's just revving so low, and the the pitch of that exhaust is just too low, and it's kind of like annoys your ears sometimes, you know. And even when you listen to hybrid and Enviros, like that buzzing of the exhaust, it's like it's quiet, yeah, but when it hits certain lower RPM, sometimes the exhaust can just buzz in your ear a bit too much. It's a bit jarring at times. And another thing I like about EVs is the relaxing noises they make whilst they're sitting on idle RPMs. Like let's just take a moment to pre one of them a sec. Hold on, hold on. Oh, it's shit in this one. This video. Oh, hold on. Obviously, sometimes electric buses from outside they can be dead silent and idle, but inside you're always hearing some particular relaxing, quiet noise in the distance. When they're idle, and I like it. Wait, let's see. What about? Yeah, you got the relaxing artificial noise. I like. Do you hear that ringing noise? Like obviously the motors, yeah, you can't hear them. You can't hear the axles because the thing's stationary, and obviously on electrics the transmission is fully locked to the wheels. It doesn't that. Oh, what actually interesting, yeah. If one day, yeah, we have an electric bus that can actually like slip, like we have an electric bus that actually has gears that get disengaged from the transmission a bit like an electric bus with a torque converter. I think maybe we'll see that. But at the same time, what's the point? Because with electrics, the power is generated instantly. The power's not generated from the motors. The power's just instantly from the battery. The thing the motors are used for is to transmit that power to the wheels. But the battery it instantly generates that power from the moment that throttle is pressed. With diesels, the power is just too gradual. It increases with the revs. Electrics, what I love about them, they get straight to the point of the power, and you feel it, bro. You feel it, especially when the thing's like first moving off from standstill. You feel that power, G. You feel a lot more than you feel it on the diesel, and that just makes the ride feel a bit more fun. Like with diesels, yeah, you feel it ever so slightly, and as you're hitting gear shifts, you're feeling the thing jerk and that, and you're hearing the power decrease as the revs go down as it changes gears and that. Like it just feels a bit too gradual and lumpy, and you know, and just dead at times. But if you was like, alright, if you ride a car, man, like when you ride cars, yeah, that's the one thing that's another thing that I like. Like it's not even just about sport cars and like normal cars, yeah. When normal cars are being pelted, you feel that power, G. And you almost get the same feeling in an electric bus. Obviously, cars are always going to be more powerful than electric buses in general, buses as a whole are always going to be like one of the slowest vehicles out here, you know. But electric buses, yeah, I have to say they are the fastest buses out there. I'll be so real. Like they perform a bit similar. Nah, I'm not. Nah, nah. I'll be real. I'll be gassing it too much if I said they're performing like cars. I'll be gassing it a bit too much, But listen to this thing, yeah. Listen to the noise it's making on idle. I hate what I hate what my headphones are doing right now. They're fading in the sounds and that. I'm not trying to make things up, you man. I promise you. G. Wait, what about this video?
Bochanek Station.
See, even this thing, you can hear the sounds clear straight away as it takes off. With diesel things, right? When you go by the front, when you go by the front of them, the sound just becomes so muffled up, and you can barely hear shit by the front of the bus. You know? No, no, no. But I can't be talking for electric things though, because when you're inside the driver's cab, you can't hear shit either. So, but at least when you're at the front as a passenger, you can still hear stuff on an electric bus. But the thing is though, even when electric buses don't make noise, at least you're not feeling that grutty vibration from that engine in the background, and you know, like diesel buses, it's no electric buses. Yeah, have you noticed? Yeah, when you walk onto electric buses, they just feel a bit more expensive when you're walking onto them. Like when you're riding an electric bus, it actually feels like you're riding something a bit more quality. It feels a bit less loose. It feels a bit less. It feels a bit more strong when you're riding it compared to your diesel. Your diesels just feel floppy and all over the place. Don't get me wrong. There's plenty of electric buses that rattle out there, but that engine, yeah, when parts are shaken to that engine, it just makes the bus feel a bit cheaper and a bit poorer in its quality, and I don't really fuck with it like that, you know. Um, yeah, that's the video, man. No, yeah, that's the video actually. Ooh, look at this lineup. This guy's done an effect to make it look like the things are moving. They're just at the garage getting charged up. That's a nice shot. That's a nice shot. That's see no the presence straight away. Electrics they just have a more cleaner presence, a more cleaner identity to them, man. that just feels more fresher to look at. When you just look at them, I like electric, man. I fuck with their vibe. You know, I'll be real, I was having a hard time adapting to them at the beginning, but they feel clean. This is a smart hybrid, but it still looks better than any older diesel, man. It still looks better. You know, buses from 2014, they seriously progressed with the designs in that, with the street lights. The street light design came out in 2011, but it still matches that criteria of a fancy bus design. You know, the 2014 buses. Like the street that's got a nice design. The Gemini 3, basically the same thing. The MMC came out around that era, 2014. You know, beautiful buses, man. And ever since then, it's slowly been increasing, you know, for buses to look more stylish, but we haven't really had new bus types. The Electroline is just a electric variant of a street deck. It's not really a new model like that, but it's a new variant of the street deck, of course. Um, and the GB Kite. This is what a lot of people forget. The Electroliner, the Hydroliner, they are names applied to the GB Kite as well as the street deck. It's not just the street deck that's called the Electroliner and the GB Kite is just the GB Kite. The GB Kite is also called the Electroliner or Hydroliner depending on its chassis. Um, yeah, and then you also got the Ultraliner. That's the that's the street deck in diesel or hybrid form. Right, let me show you, man. Let me show you now. Street deck. Let's go on Wikipedia real quick. Right, street deck Ultraliner slash micro hybrid. The Rat The Rat Street Deck was originally launched as a standard diesel integral bus fitted with a Daimler Mercedes OM934 5.1 litre four-cylinder Euro 6 exhaust diesel engine, competing mainly with the Volvo B5TL. What? The Volvo B5TL isn't a bus, it's a chassis. You've labeled here, you've labeled here the street deck. So you mean no, it wasn't competing with a Volvo. That's a chassis, mate. You're saying a full-on bus is competing with a chassis. That's a bit wrong, mate. Mm, The Volvo B5TL is a two-axle low-floor double-decker built by Volvo. No, it's a chassis. It's not a double. Oh my God, bro. No, that's alright. People make mistakes, and you know. Uh, that's another thing I don't like. How people like. You see how I was reacting there. A lot of people would just get angry, yeah, for people making mistakes in their things. Uh, Yeah, it was kind of a it's a it's a competing product. It's a competing product to the Ralph Lauren MMC. Yeah, this Street Deck variant was retrospectively named to the Street Deck Ultraliner in 2021 to distinguish it from the later HEV, Electroliner, and Hydroliner variants. Yes. So this is a thing because you start. I remember I only very recently started hearing terms like hydroliner, electroliner, and ultraliner for the street deck and GB Cat around the 2020s. Around 2023, I started hearing that term used for them, and I was like, "What's all these new names? Is Wrightbus trying to like release new models and that?" But no, it turns out it's actually the same street deck. It's a street deck, but under different variants. Whether it's in its electric form, and it will be referred to as the electroliner, whether it's in the hydrogen fuel form, and it'll be addressed to the hydroliner name. HEV is just called HEV, which stands for what? Hybrid Electric Vehicle. Even though that doesn't make sense, because the HEV street decks, they never can drive with the engine fully off. Fair enough, you just call them hybrid, yeah, but they never run in electric mode. The engine shuts off, yeah, but they never purely run in the electric mode. But you can still kind of call the thing HEV because it uses electric motors. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. But hybrid is when you got a combustion engine and the electric motor working together. So if you see any vehicle that's called hybrid, this and that, and you hear them saying a hybrid engine. That's confusing in itself. That's the thing that kind of confuses me when people say, "Oh, this hybrid vehicle's got a hybrid engine." No, mate, it's still got a combustion engine. It's not called a hybrid engine. The vehicle itself is a hybrid because it's got electric motors and a combustion engine, but the engine is not hybrid. That's not how it works. But now the Street Deck diesel variant was renamed to Ultraliner in 2021. So that technically means that you can call the 2014, 2014 all the way to 2020 Street Decks on the diesel form Ultraliner. Can we do that? Because it's basically the same thing, but Wrightbus renamed it to Ultraliner. No, because this is the thing, bro. Because people do this shit like it's just like saying, are we gonna call the East Lance Olympus the Opta Olympus now? Because Opta took over East Lance. No, I think we still keep. I mean, no, because I had this guy. Yeah, I was going around calling the Olympus is that the let me show you what the Olympus looks like. It looks like a box of wheels. It's a clear representation of a box of wheels. Um, okay, the boss doesn't even come up. Let's yeah. This boss is a clear representation of just a box on wheels. Even with the black around, it still doesn't take your mind off the thing being a huge box on wheels. Like it just looks so flat and boxy, and there's such a like it just doesn't really look that pleasing, to be fair. These things are overrated, and the only thing that I can really think that people favored them for was just basically them having a kit down system. And the thing is, kit down's not even really that advanced, mate. All it does is just make the gear shifts happen at, uh, specific times, but different times than they would usually happen at, you know. It's really not that advanced. Um, but yeah, these so obviously we had older ones like these lot. Wait, no, we had like basically what's going on here? I didn't even really know that Transdev had these. Wait, interesting. Like when we look at these things, right? So obviously East Lance was the previous name before Opta took over the group, and then they Opta renamed themselves to Switch Mobility in 2022, I think. But yeah, so people do this thing where whenever manufacturers change their names, they still call the buses, they still call the vehicles that with the manufacturer before they change their name in the original name they had before. But me personally, me personally, I've always just thought of okay, if the manufacturers change their name now, actually, no, because it wouldn't really make sense calling it Olympus a Switch Mobility Olympus, especially when it's got Opta logos and yeah. Nah, cool. Just call the thing with, just call the thing the manufacturer name that it got built with. I'd say that. Just say that. Yeah, that's a B9TL chassis Olympus. It's got a nice rear. It's pretty. Looks alright. The rear looks alright. I like it. For a bus anyway. Uh, Obviously, I don't like this thing. It's still got its kind of own charm to it. I like. But like when we look at the things of today, they look 10 times more flashier than these boxes. And this is why I understand throughout all these times where we was glazing this shit, where I was glazing all these buses to the brim before these electrics pulled up and I started adapting to them. I understand why I had their people telling me, yo, why are you recording the bus for, G? It's not really that special, is it? It's just a box on wheels. I totally understand, you know. I totally understand. It just like it literally just looks like a box on wheels. It doesn't really look that impressive anymore. When I look at these things, that's how I used to see it back in the day. When I see all the new things joining in now, I really do see it. I really do see why people, you know, dislike these things. People said bad about them, and why, you know, people that aren't really into buses just don't really see anything in buses. Like they do pretty much look like boxes on wheels. I'll be straight up with you, bro. I'll be straight up with you, you know. But yeah, that's it from me. Um, have a good one, you lot. Take care. Thank you for watching the video. If you made it up to this end, I appreciate you, mate. Fist bump, yeah, through the screen. Yeah, take care.